but
I think you will be whinging. We're all going to be whinging together because we're live here on Men Are Speaking. Today we're talking about gothic horror. Frankenstein. Yeah, that was. I thought it was going to be a good idea, and that was a bit. I didn't think I was walking us into like horror movie Wuthering Heights, but apparently we were, and that was a slog.
Yes.
My retardation has been completely confirmed. I listened to the audiobook and retained almost nothing. I had to go back and read notes and watch analysis videos to figure out the fuck I listened to.
It's really amazing how a 6-hour audiobook can be a slog.
8. It was 8 hours for me.
I think mine was actually like 7, but yeah.
Really? Oh my gosh. All right. So anybody who doesn't know, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was published in what, 1818, with another edition in 1831 or somewhere abouts. To give you an idea, Dracula was like 1880s, I think, like later 1800s. So a good long while afterwards. This was like reading Shakespeare a little bit. It wasn't quite as bad, but it was pretty close.
Yeah. Well, I think a lady who wrote it was 18 when she wrote it, and it kind of shows. Also, she was British, which also very much shows.
Yeah, tell us about that. So this is the most gothic Brit bong like lady writing. Tell us about how that went. Yes, go on. I want to hear this rant.
The vast majority of the book, okay, excluding the beginning section with the Arctic, which was actually pretty good and got
that was rad, actually. Yes,
like however long that lasted. Went from that to flipping between describing nature and woe is me. And then occasionally something would happen, and then it would go back to woe is me and angst and oh no, consequences of my own action. Oh no, consequences of their own actions. And then nature. And at one point
nature.
I have what?
And then nature. Yes, the nature. Yeah. Tell us about the nature.
Oh my god, I had to laugh. Like, so they kept describing the trees and the mountains and the trees and the mountains, and then towards like the end of the book, they went to Britain. And then they're like, Britain's got the best nature, and then proceeds to describe all of the British nature because the British nature is the best ever. And I'm like, well, oh my god.
And this is from the perspective,
which is something no Swiss would ever say, by the way.
I know, right?
They do straight up have better nature.
Yeah. Like my sister went to Switzerland and she used to talk about it, and she was like, yeah, if I had to live anywhere outside the United States, it would be here. It is paradise. And it's like, yeah, no Swiss would be like, yeah, England, where the sun never shines.
Yes, that's right.
Like, oh my god.
The fixation on nature that they have in England is actually kind of fascinating. I said in the private chat that they're like druids, essentially, and you guys expounded upon that. But yeah, there's this major connection they have to nature and place.
Drugs.
And it makes them sound like the homeschool kids of the world. Where I went on a ski trip with a bunch of with a homeschooler, right? It was a church ski trip, and all the homeschooler could say was that stuff wasn't like home, and therefore was not as good. And it was that the entire time, and that's what I think about England. Like, oh, the sausage rolls are different. I don't like it.
Oh my god!
I want.
It wouldn't be a British novel without bashing the Catholics some too. That happened occasionally.
I really did.
Dracula was surprising in that they were actually nice to the Catholics and the Orthodoxes, and then no, in this one it was very much Catholics are evil, and the priest was the reason the one chick killed herself is because the priest wouldn't give her last rites.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, oh, anyway,
can't be done. Can't give your last rites. Sorry.
Yeah, freaking Brits. Freaking Brits who wrote that. That would have never happened.
Well, you know, the lady is doing her job as a woman and being moral value enforcement for her homeland.
Oh, God. And the French. The guys that were... So, at one point, the monster is staying under the house of these Frenchies.
Mm-hmm.
And the Frenchies who are totally... Like, their ideology is completely liberal. In that they were they saw the Turk guy. They decided that the Turk guy didn't get his just desserts because he was really being persecuted for being a Turk and that he was a Muslim and not a Catholic.
Oh, yes.
They proceeded to help the Turk, who basically ruined the entire. The son ruined the entire house because he wanted to marry this Turk's daughter because the Turk was thrown in prison, probably justifiably so. And so he ruins the family, and then the Turk doesn't want his daughter to marry him because they're penniless. And then the Turk's daughter does it anyway instead of obeying her father because she actually liked the guy and her mother was Christian. Yeah, that was a whole thing. That was a whole drama. Oh no. Cosmo's gone.
Cosmo came in and out. No, I took him off the stage because his computer is logging on.
Okay.
Dude, yeah, it has
Okay,
French Turk, Dr. Frankenstein. We're gonna talk about the Frankenstein thing. Was like, Frankenstein was the real monster, sort of thing. We're gonna dump all
they
that.
were both of them. Okay.
They're just pricks.
Yeah.
They're whiny pricks.
Oh no!
I mean, the monster, like the creature, is definitely a monster. Like, get the fuck out.
Cosmo, your audio is messed up.
Are you on your microphone?
Damn it!
It's better when your mouth's close to it, actually.
Yeah, it's better when your mouth's close.
Right. How are we doing now?
Oh, that's pretty good. What do you think? What do you think, Luda?
It was a little bit better, but not too much better, honestly.
See what you can do there, Cosmo. No worries, no rush. Yeah,
Okay.
the like Frankenstein slumping back and figuring out that I have done something terrible, which is the exact thing that he intended to do. It's like there's no forethought whatsoever. The absolute shit show that
he was so devoted to trying to do it that he didn't stop to think if he should have. It's like the quote from Jurassic Park.
He didn't even think about what he's doing. Like, how are you surprised, man? This is what you wanted to do. It's like if I baked a cake and I was like horrified that a cake happened. It's like, what do you?
Yeah. It's like, oh man. Like at the end of the book, it's like the real problem was that he was ambitious. And I'm like, no, you were digging up graveyards to get parts to build this monstrosity. And they're shocked that this monstrosity was a monstrosity. Like, what are you thinking, you moron?
All right, let's do a quick synopsis. Right, let's do a quick synopsis of the story. I mean, the book starts with 5 letters, right? And the 5 letters are from in the future, right? It's actually kind of a funny thing. I don't know if it was a cliche at the time or something like that, or if it was a trope at the time, but it starts out in the future. They are in the Arctic. And
sorry,
there you go. Good here.
Mic testing.
You're good. You're good.
It's so frustrating. Shit always breaks.
I know. For some reason, it keeps wanting me to go through my voice mod program, which is what I used to do Space Marine voices on. Every time I come in here. Yes, so it starts out in the Arctic. 5 letters. It's from the future when Frankenstein is chasing down his monster, and he is confiding in a sailor who is a scientist himself. The story. I'm something of a scientist myself.
It was a sea captain who was self-educated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think.
And he port in a storm, I guess. Yeah, he was lonely and he wanted friends.
And then he's like, but I can't find any friends in the Arctic. And lo and behold, he finds this guy stranded in the Arctic. Imagine that.
His name was Frankenstein, which sounds like French Jewish guy, actually. I don't think about it.
Yeah.
Take us to the next bit here.
Okay, so after it goes way back to the very beginning and starts with like the whole entire history of his parents.
Yeah, which was highly was that irrelevant or not? I don't know if that was
irrelevant. And then it goes to him and his friend Henry Craval, I think it's his name. And then Elizabeth, and basically there was a maid who had like 4 or 5 kids, and one of them was blonder and prettier than the rest. And you find out that she's adopted from a fallen noble lineage because every single noble anybody that's actually pretty in this book is really of a noble lineage, and
It's very European coded, I think.
yeah, I noticed
There are
that
no
like,
pretty peasants.
every single time, like even the house that the monster was under, the French guys, is like, oh, they're so beautiful and wonderful, and then later, fallen nobles. I'm like, you can't have a pretty commoner.
I want to make like a British checklist. Okay, like first off, like nature indulging. Second off, like Brit's the best, no matter like simple as. Third off, the blue bloods are the good bloods, something like that. You know?
Yeah, this is not. In reality, it's always the opposite, where it's kind of like the nobles have issues with inbreeding and they're not that pretty.
It's I always think of America as like the nation of ugly retards that have decided they had enough of it, and we made the best state ever.
Evers.
Out of just beating the shit out of each other and having to deal with stuff on our own. And
okay, so
yes.
So Victor's family decides to adopt this girl who is blonder and prettier than the rest of the other children because she was really of a noble lineage.
Okay. Yep.
And that's Elizabeth, who is his and the love of his life and belongs to him and all that's good jazz. And
yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah. That's a little weird. I mean, like that's very back in the old days. Did they just take it seriously when like a 6-year-old says, "I'm going to marry this other 6-year-old," and they're like, "Yeah, I guess it is. All right, 10 years, it'll be so."
yeah, that was weird.
It's a more innocent time.
Yeah, and so he had a really good childhood. You know, wealthy family, has his bride picked out for him, and they refer to each other. Elizabeth and him refer to each other as cousins, even though they're not actually related, and they're intended to get married, even though they're like 6.
I've heard that in the original edition they were supposed to be blood cousins, but I've not confirmed that.
Yeah, I don't know, but in this summary of what I've read, so then at some point Victor is like reading all these books. And he's like, these are great. And his dad's like, no, those ones suck. And he assumed his dad didn't read the books and decided that he's going to keep studying them because his dad telling him that they sucked was obviously incorrect. And so they realized he was smart and sent him off to college. And instead of the rude awakening of college of you're not as smart as everybody else that people normally get, it's like, nope. He's more brilliant and better than the rest of these guys. So he meets a couple of professors, ends up improving their instruments, and decides he wants to make a great impression on the world.
Howdly Doodly is like killing it in chat. That's hilarious.
Oh my god.
I think it's funny because all right, maybe there are different columns for the score chart, by the way. There's English writer of like England is the best as simple as, and then there's the lady column where it's like my character is the bestest, better at everything, Mary Sue.
Oh my god, yeah.
19-year-old lady.
Yeah.
I know.
18 or 19.
He was just too ambitious, don't you know? He was just too good.
That was really his character flaw. It wasn't all the other stuff. Oh my god. I'm like, you moron.
All right. Yeah, the all right. So he has his cousin. His cousin, which is not really his cousin, I suppose. And he goes off to college, right? And he starts studying the natural sciences.
Yes.
And he's not super happy with the natural sciences. I mean, he takes to it pretty well, but he starts getting into some other studies, right? By the way, as I said, I am extremely shaky on this because I fucking one in one ear out the other. I will never do this as an audiobook. We got to do like Edgar Allan Poe or something next, which would be a treat. Versus this was a slog. This was torturous. When Alex Cosmo was able to be on here more, I wanted to talk more about the writing style. This was rough. Do we want to do like a real brief of the story here? We
can do a real brief if you want me to. I can do that.
Yeah. Let's do a real brief. So he starts studying chemistry and the sciences. Decides he wants to resurrect life, which he then does in his dorm room because he's like the Dr. House of the Gothic horror universe.
Yep. And then He
Yeah.
resurrects his monster who's got golden eyes, 8 feet tall. And I think that's the only description we really have of him. He's made from all these parts that he stole from the graveyard. Anyway, so monster awakes and he basically does the girly scream, runs out of the room and flops onto his bed and goes to sleep and pretends like none of this ever happened. And then poof, the monster's gone. And oh yay. That was a good idea.
By the way, this monster must have took his frequent flyer miles card or something as we start to find out that this guy's been shadowing him as Victor Frankenstein moves about. Victor moves about countries.
Yeah.
And his
it spends a lot of time in bed, in prison, being sick, and woe is me. Yes, or looking at nature. One of the two. He's looking at nature, or he's in a prison cell going woe is me, or in bed being woe is me, because that's most of the book.
Is that another British trope of being horrendously sick because you're sad?
Apparently,
you're being laid up in bed because you're upset about things.
I think that's a 19th century trope. It shows up so much. I mean, maybe it is an English thing, but
yeah, I'd have to ask Pascal Emmanuel Gobry or something like that. Is that a French literature thing? Or did they just get ennui? Is that ennui? I don't know. He'd be so tired of our shit if he ever had talked to us. What am I doing? Wasting my life.
So basically, so after he creates this monster, Victor's sick, and then his friend Henry Cavill comes and nurses him back to health, and then he gets letters from his lover Elizabeth and his father saying, please come back home. And then sad news, the surprise brother that Victor has is croaked. And so they added 2 characters kind of out of left field. One of them is the younger brother who's now dead. And then the other one is the younger sister of Elizabeth, who is not really her sister, but was part of that family. Who was not as pretty and not as blonde as Elizabeth. And she was a Catholic. And so basically she got framed for the death of
That's 3 strikes.
What?
That's 3 strikes against her.
I know, right? I don't know what they have against dark-haired people, and the blondes are the best ever. Maybe I should go to England.
I don't know. Well, yeah.
But basically, so this girl gets framed for the murder, and she
their beloved maid who was didn't do nothing wrong and is the best ever and is going to die in peace without any blame whatsoever. She's just the bestest little angel.
Yeah, except for she was browbeaten by her confessor who was I'm not giving you last rites unless you confess. And she's but I didn't do it. And it's but confess. And so she confessed. And then she was don't fear for me because I'm going to go to heaven and blah, 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 blah. And Elizabeth is tragically sad. And the thing is Victor Frankenstein got there ahead of time and was yeah, no, she totally didn't do it. And then he saw the monster. He's oh, yeah, I totally know who did it. It was the monster. But he wouldn't confess to it or tell anybody about it. So he could have prevented her execution.
Well, he would have been thought mad. He couldn't have just said some person was nearby.
It's I saw this. He could have said, I saw this 8-foot tall monster or 8-foot tall guy who confessed to it or whatever.
He doesn't even have to, I mean, the 8-foot tall is not a thing they can, you just say a very tall man.
Yeah.
An unusually tall man. Also, is that another thing about English? They're just really bad liars. I feel lying is a thing that's not native to that nation.
Yeah, that seems to fit the bill with my dealings with some of those Brits. Anyway.
Benign numbers. I think this will be an interesting fanfic that we should write. It's just the most. It's the Frankenstein's monster goes to Spain and foments revolution, civil war, and becomes a fascist. I would call it a fascist Frankenstein.
Yeah,
actually, kind of funny. That would actually be kind of funny if someone wrote all these different classical monsters as political movements. So Frankenstein is the fascists, which is derived from socialism. You have I don't even know who would be. I think the United States would be the Invisible Man in terms of our fuckery, just always in everyone.
Superman.
Well, I mean, this is Gothic horror, and I think that H.G. Wells is the end of Gothic horror. Also, one of the major monsters, right? So the Invisible. Yeah, they're all bad. They're all evil. So it's Americans would be the Invisible Man because we're the hand that's unseen behind a lot of different events or something, or at least so we speak. Pick your vampires, easy communism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Frankenstein is trying to make the new man, which actually might make him a Nazi. I don't know. He's trying to make it.
There's a lot of stuff that that I mean, we kind of mentioned it already. Mary Shelley is a shit lib in her perspective in this novel.
Yes, he is. Oh no, consequences.
I know.
Well, also, like,
yeah,
the monster, like, and the whole take that Dr. Frankenstein is the monster, not the creature. It's like, no, the monster is definitely a monster, and you can't like wallpaper it over with socio-economic factors.
Yeah,
like, the creature is
Yeah.
absolutely unjustified.
I want to get to the
so there is some intellectual pass through of the shit lib enabled death of God George Sorel myth of violence sort of thing that oh yeah, this is actually an intellectual strain that leads to fascism.
Howdly doodly, I don't necessarily agree. We're going to listen to the words of Frankenstein's monster himself, because Frankenstein's monster is the biggest shit lib you've ever met. He is the worst. If you
French.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, he learned from the French. So he's just chilling out, like camping outside this French people's home, eating their food. He feels bad, so he then contributes. So according to his need and according to his ability, he decides to contribute to this family.
Should I go back to continue the summary?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's go for it.
Okay, sorry. I just didn't want you to get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
No, that's all good.
No, it's good. So basically, while Frankenstein is brooding the death of this innocent woman and his brother that suddenly exist, so Frankenstein sees the monster, and then they kind of meet up and talk, and then the monster's like, "You must listen to me," and then he's like, "I don't want to. You're a monster," and then it's like, "But you made me. You at least should hear my request." And so they start talking, and basically the monster tells his tale. So it's kind of a tale within a tale within a tale within a tale, because
it is all a big fat Scheherazade story.
Yeah, because it's Victor telling it to the guy in the Arctic, who's telling it to his sister in these letters.
Oh, geez, yeah, you're right. My God.
And then it's the monster telling it to Victor, telling it to the captain, telling it to his sister.
Yeah. So the monster,
and then on top of that, it's the monster telling the brother's story.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I was about to get to that. Because it's like, oh good lord. So so the monster talks about how he basically was born and Victor kind of abandoned him, so he ran away and was in the forest and didn't know any language and was basically learning science on his own. And then
the blank slate theory in action.
What?
The blank slate theory in action.
Yeah, basically, and goes into great detail. Oh my god. And so basically, he lives in the woods, and then he freaks out a bunch of commoners, and then he finds himself, I think at one point, staying in a sheep herder's cottage, and then later he goes to villages, they scream at him, he runs away, and then he ends up under the shack of the family, who is very, very pretty and very, very French. And that's where he lives for a good long while, and he starts eating their food, and then he's like, why are these people so sad? They have everything. They have a house, they got friends, they got, all this stuff. Why are they upset? And then he realizes later it's because they're poor.
Oh.
Yeah, that's really what the problem is. They're poor. And of course, they're also fallen nobles, and that's why they're pretty, and the one guy can play the guitar. So there's 3 people in the house. There's the blind father, and then the son and the daughter, and basically the son ruins all 3 of their lives, as I've mentioned earlier. But it is through this family that the monster learns French, and also he learns how to read. So he gains language, and he gains the ability to read. And then there's magically these books that kind of appear that he starts reading, and yeah, so and he decides that since they're poor, it's bad to steal from them, and instead starts eating nuts and berries, and then starts bringing in the wood, which they've decided is a magical entity that has blessed them for some weird reason. So then the son doesn't have to go chop wood in the forest anymore because the monster's bringing him wood, and decides that he's going to go and work elsewhere instead so the family can eat and survive. And then you find out the shit livery, which is so basically, as I said earlier, they're a well-renowned noble family from France. I think the blind father was a war hero. And it was the son that had decided that this poor Turk merchant was really being oppressed by the fact that he was of a different religion and an immigrant, rather than being, a victim of his own crime.
Does he really? I forgot. Does he really read Voltaire, or is Benign just fucking with us?
He may have read Voltaire.
I'm trying to remember. I know it's Milton's Paradise Lost and
Paradise Lost is the one I remember.
Oh my god!
I think Voltaire may have been on that list.
All right, so this lady loves to read, and she's got ideas, and she decides to make it. By the way, I'm gonna make it aside. Yeah. If your life experience is reading books, don't fucking write a book. You don't have any life experience. You've just read books. That's all you've done. Fuck me. Yeah, he was joking. Yeah, okay. So, Benign, I don't mind that you're joking. But the thing is that it's indistinguishable from what might be true. So it's really hard for us to tell. So we have to check, which led to me it was like a fever dream of exposition. And by the way, none of the stuff that we've said has actually ever made it into any movies, except for the blind guy. Yeah, none of this is. Sorry,
I just pulled up the 3 books that he got. So it's Paradise Lost, Plutarch's Lives, and Goethe's Sorrows of the Young Werther. I can't think of a conjunction of Livy's fine enough on his own, Milton's fine enough on his own, Goethe is you put the 3 together and you have basically the worst philosophical foundation conceivable.
This is why we have Cosmo. This is why Cosmo's so good to be on, because he knows all this shit. And all right, I want what would based Frankenstein read? What are the 3 books that based Frankenstein would read? Is he going to be a Nietzsche? Or is he going to go back to Aristotle or something like that? What do you think he's going to do?
Aristotle, definitely.
It doesn't have to be from that time period. That's too hard of a constraint. It could just be any based books you want. Well, it could be free to choose from Milton.
It's one history, one epic poem / novel, and one novel.
That is actually Howley Doodley. I think you found the real monster. Is the ideology that the books that you read along the way.
Oh my
He's
God.
like Frankenstein. He is Frankenstein's monster. Is Frankenstein monstered its own ideology from bullshit, while also creepily hanging outside some French people's homes.
Yeah. Oh my God. And it's and it really comes through in his ideology if you think about it, because the monster is very much a edgelord teen in personality.
Yes. Oh, did you read the chats, or did you steal that from? Did you steal that from me, or did you?
Steal that from you guys. I read the chat.
Okay, no. I want to see if you get to it your own, because he sounded like that. Because we didn't get to the part where he kills his brother, but he kills his brother, and it's I did it out of revenge because you weren't a good father to me. I was like, this is not an excuse. The first thing I should do is...
he straight up murders at least 3 people because God abandoned me.
Oh my God. Join the club, monster boy. We need to give this monster a name. What kind of shitlib name would this monster have? Aiden? Aiden the monster.
I thought of a few, but they would be too mean.
All right, in the chat, feel free to throw in your ideas for what would a shitlib monster be. That's pretty funny. What would some Karen name her child? This. Oh my God. Anyways, yeah. So he commits murder. He commits murder and then justifies it because of my upbringing.
Yeah,
my dad.
The poor Frenchies didn't accept him. He went and talked to the blind dad, and the blind dad was fine with him, but it was also kind of who are you? And then the son comes home, the son who basically ruined the lives of the entire family because he wanted to bang this Turk's daughter.
That's not how I would put it, but yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what happened. Is that the Turk
successfully bangs this Turk's daughter?
I like that as a motivation. That's a Frankenshut.
Oh God. So the son decides to the sister screams and runs away. I think the wife screams and runs away. The son keeps whacking him with a stick, and then he runs away. It's like, oh no, this family I wanted to be a part of has rejected me. And then he finds himself in the area of Geneva, I think, where Frankenstein was born, and then runs across a child, and he decides, well, children are innocent, and they have no basic foundation of,
I'll kidnap this child and make him my friend.
Yeah, basically, because of course the formation of the child isn't set in stone, and then the child screams at him and is like, let me go, I want to go home. And then the monster figures out that it's Frankenstein's brother, because he calls himself Frankenstein, so he kills the child.
It's an amazing coincidence, by the way. This motherfucker is like, how does he find these people? Like, it's just such plot conveniences, right? Like, if this is a movie, we'd be like, what the fuck?
Because it's weird, because when you look at Victor Frankenstein's perspective, the monster seems to be doing this all intentionally. Like, he went and hunted down the brother and then purposely killed him. But when he goes to
Frankenstein believes this with no knowledge or basis for knowing it.
Yeah.
This by the way has like all the hallmarks of like a fan fiction written by a teenage girl. Like, it's an original
go into that,
but it feels like something you'd see on, like, what is it, Wattpad or whatever.
My original character, Do Not Steal.
This is my OC. Yeah, this is my OC.
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster is an, oh my god. Yeah, Frankenstein's monster is an OC would explain why he's an incel.
Yeah.
Essentially. Like, he's just like this ugly incel no one loves.
And he's also he's also unfairly characterized as being this like great philosophical man, when actually he's just a piece of shit.
Yeah, like the what you say versus what you do. Like, I told you he read great books. He's intelligent, right? It's like, he doesn't behave intelligently, he just happens upon people and murders them.
Yeah, it's like, they're so smart and so freaking stupid. Okay. So after the murder of this child, he goes to the mountains and then meets Frankenstein, and Frankenstein is now, it's back
because he's put himself like up on like what do you call it, a glacier, right? And he's just like staying there.
No, this isn't the glacier yet. This is in the mountains when after the death of the brother. And Frankenstein is moody because his brother died and this other woman died. And then this is when the monster asks Frankenstein to make him a bride.
Oh yeah. By the way, I gotta say that this is like the socio-economic factors, in that the person who is assigned agency is the one to blame for all of this. It's never the monster's fault. Like, this motherfucker is asking for a bride after like getting 2 people killed.
Well, also his argument is, well, you created me, so you owe me love.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
and
fuck
the thing
off.
is that even with like 2 brain cells rubbed together, it's sort of like, there's no guarantee that this bride he makes would love this monster, and they both does acknowledge that. And then it's like,
that is actually a point in the Bride of Frankenstein movies. Actually, she's not super rizzed.
She would be just as sick of him as we are.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, dude. Like, even if we make you a bride, Mr. Incel. Although I'm starting to get is Frankenstein like a this channel's not going to last long if I keep talking like this. Is Frankenstein just a black nationalist at this point?
Oh God.
What?
You brought me across the Atlantic. You owe me. You gotta take care of me. You gotta love me. You gotta accept me. You gotta get, you gotta teach me. Yeah, exactly. It's like you owe me all this shit. It's like this tremendous entitlement of
Groiperstein.
Uh-huh.
That's too funny. I actually believe that Groiperism seems to be the degeneration of the white race into what has been the post 1960s black, like super ultra psyoped. I've never seen people so easily psyoped in my life. As an aside, like the $7,000 from Israel thing, I was like, I don't know if there's any proof of that, but it's like everyone just says it because they're told to say
weird.
It.
I never understood that.
No offense to Luna here. This is like female levels of hysteria and just accepting what's popularly true without any sort of thought on your own. It's like this complete offshoring of your critical thinking faculties onto whatever the popular guy said.
Like, I will happily be the other person that is not involved with that. Yeah, most women, yes. I'm the exception. I will accept that.
I would, by the way, sorry, and as an aside, I would love to see it if someone who's a graphic designer made a year counter that would count up, and it would just say and it would just have the different color palettes that were in that year. Because I swear to God, that's a thing. That must have happened. Like there was a year probably in early 2010s where it was all sort of like brown, orange, like brown shoes, orange tunics, blue jeans, blonde hair kind of thing. I don't know. Anyways, what I'm saying is that like this guy's not thinking on his own. This Frankenstein guy is pretty much just surrendered all of his agency over to someone who he feels owes him something for the burden of creating him and not the gift of creating.
Yeah. So the monster wants Frankenstein to make him a bride, and then Frankenstein's like, no, and the monster's like, yes, you must, and he's like, fine, I guess, because you're gonna make
because
me.
The monster promises to go away to the uncharted regions of South America, and then also threatens to kill Frankenstein's love. Like,
yeah. So Frankenstein's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then Frankenstein tries to procrastinate by staring at nature on purpose. Like, that is actually in the book. He tries to procrastinate as much as possible by looking at pretty nature. And then he decides, okay, I got to do this duty. And part of what spurs it is the dad's like, hey, so when are you and Elizabeth getting married? Do you have another lover? Is that why you're not marrying her? And he's like, no, Elizabeth is the only one for me. And then he's like, well, I want to close this chapter of my life and put it all behind me. I'm going to make the monster his wife, and then go and marry Elizabeth and let this all roll over and never think of it again. And so he takes his friend Henry and goes to England. And Henry's
the best
having
country in the world.
What?
The best country in the world, simple as.
Of course, the best country in the world.
He takes his friend Geralt of Rivia and goes to England.
Yeah. And then
Henry's the real hero, man. Like Henry's just a good friend, man.
Yeah. And so him and Henry go to England, which is apparently the best nature ever's. And then Henry gets involved with study because he wants to go to India and do Indian things, apparently.
I wonder if it was cleaner back then.
Maybe. I don't know.
No chance.
And then,
they left that one out of the history books.
And then, so Frankenstein goes to like some remote village and some empty hut, and then starts stealing a bunch of parts to make from the graveyard to make this woman. And then he almost succeeds, and then at the last minute, he sees the monsters watching him, and then gets mad and rips her to shreds. It's like, no. And so the monster's like,
because he's concerned they might start having children.
Yeah. Because
we don't want to. Oh no, I see. Frankenstein's a eugenicist now.
Yeah.
I can't have you having babies. That's awful.
Yeah. So
Frankenstein is black. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's horrible.
Oh my god.
Go to hell.
Oh my god.
I don't mean it. It's just that the parallels are all there. The way he thinks, the way he acts, the way he talks.
So the monster visits Frankenstein like, why did he destroy my bride? And he's like, I'm not making you one. That's the end of that. And so the monster's like, all right, well, I'll be with you at your wedding night, and then promptly leaves to make good on this threat, apparently.
Oh my god.
So,
Frankenstein can't just bust a cap in a dude. What the hell is he not showing up armed to these meetings? What the
the arming comes later at the wedding, but anyway, that's how long apparently Frankenstein needs to actually get a weapon on him.
Oh, so maybe Victor is Orthodox after all. He's got his guns at his wedding. Yeah.
So Victor goes out on a boat to dump the remains of the lady that he did not complete, and then he comes back on shore, and his buddy Henry's dead, and then, of course, all the Irish are on the shore, and all the
somehow
Irish
he gets framed for murder in this huge coincidence.
Yeah, because he comes up on shore, and then the Irish are like, yeah, we saw this guy out on a boat, and we found this dead noble, and obviously he did it. And so Victor basically goes and rots in prison for a while also being delirious and hysteria. And oh my god, my friend is dead. And his father shows up, and then like the magistrate's like, don't you want to see your visitor? And he's like, no, I don't want to. And it's like, how dare you say that about your dad? And he's like, oh, it's my dad? I want to see my dad, because he thought it was the monster coming to visit.
I think someone would probably make note to Victor that an 8-foot tall cadaver, animated by the power of unholy science, has come to visit him. It's like, yes, no, normal person, dude, of course.
Yeah, the same monster.
I think he might be a Turk. He looks a bit strange.
Yeah.
A very large Turk.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead.
So,
I might be French. Southern French.
The dad's very upset and sad by the death of Henry, and then they both decide that they're going to not be in England and go to Paris, and then the father's trying to cheer up his
by
son.
the death of Superman.
What?
Everyone is saddened by the death of Superman.
Yeah. And so the father asks seriously, hey, are you trying to run away from Elizabeth? And he's like, no, I want to marry Elizabeth. And then Elizabeth sent a letter thinking that Victor is totally all mopey because he's in love with another woman and internally struggling.
Girl writing alert. Girl writing alert. Girl writing alert is that the biggest concern of the father is that he doesn't want to get married. Marriage is the main concern of the parents. I think men would usually have bigger concerns, like, did you murder a bunch of people?
Yeah. Well, this novel also has more girl writing, and it suffers for something that's held in such esteem. This novel really suffers from like a serious case of and then plot. Yeah,
my God, it's like nothing ties to each other. It's like, and then the monster was angry about the thing that happened just a second ago, and then. When does he want a wife? What the fuck? How does that happen? How does it didn't like seem like there was yearning. It would make more sense if maybe Frankenstein's monster had wanted some level of romance or something like that.
Well,
like there's no romance in that cottage. Like he doesn't know what that is. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But also that basically like all people, like all things with consciousness are basically pro-social and good, and it's just their circumstances that make them bad. And they're not blameworthy, it's the circumstances. And like
exactly,
holy shit.
Yeah.
Like there was no reason for him to have any, like the idea that someone fresh into this world would have the idea of reciprocity is actually like you're putting as some might say, you're putting them morally on third base. Right? Like that's reciprocity is actually a very advanced, as you would say, social technology. That's not normal. People don't feel reciprocal. Shitlib Frankenstein's monster is actually pretty much the default, but the real default of people, if you really understand people in third world mindsets, and the third world mindset is just an unsocialized mindset, is that I'm going to come up with any words that gets me the thing I want. I want thing. I will say whatever. I'll lie. I'll cheat. And then the thing is, to me, I don't internalize it as a lie. It's just I'm saying the thing that gets me the thing I want. So if I claim that you're racist or something like that, or if I claim that I'm a victim of something or other, it gets me the thing I want. Like
it's strictly instrumental. There's essentially no moral thinking layer on top of it.
Yeah, the abstract concept of truth is actually pretty difficult to arrive at and requires probably thousands of years of attempted civilization to arrive at like, oh yeah, there's actually a thing called truth.
Yeah.
That I should submit myself to.
Right. Yeah. And it benefits absolutely everyone if absolutely everyone submits themselves to this abstraction.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the social technology of how do you suss out untruth, right? Because that's the immune system of such a society. Because there is no society without the idea of truth, unless you want to have a fear-based society. Mm-hmm. Right? If you want to have a Babylonian king be in charge of you and you get 50 lashes for dealing untruthfully, right? There's so many contrivances and conveniences placed with Frankenstein's monster that makes it so unbelievable that every time Frankenstein's monster opens its mouth, I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
Just make up a bunch of shit. Like this is very sheltered. I guess what I'm saying is the writer, as I said before, if you've only ever read things and you think you can write a book, maybe don't write the book. Frankenstein's monster is an awesome concept. The sci-fi aspect of it
Mhm.
But you notice that everybody who adapts Frankenstein's monster leaves all this shit out,
Yeah.
except for Frankenstein's a monster. For Frankenstein's monster is a monster.
Well, yeah. I mean, they make Victor significantly more villainous. They
Yes.
essentially abandon this, like, for the most part, abandon the God is dead angle and make the monster, like, basically decent rather than a prick.
Yeah, they make the monster seem more primitive, and actually
They make
oddly
the
enough,
monster seem more physically primitive, but like significantly more philosophically advanced than he is in this novel, being formed by Plutarch, Goethe, and Milton.
Mhm.
yeah, that was a big mistake. Like, it's better to work with a Frankenstein's monster that's building itself up in front of the camera. Like,
Yeah.
even though this is a book, I'm going to describe this stuff as happening behind the camera.
Yeah.
You don't actually see this development; it's just told to you.
Right. Well, also the epistemological development of the monster is like clearly written by somebody who doesn't understand developmental psychology.
Oh yeah.
And also, I think the monster's 3 literary influences are like probably a massive self-report by Shelley.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. She's a dirty shit lib. It's
Yeah.
kind of funny when you start projecting yourself. I mean, it's normal for writers to project themselves into the books. It's kind of funny when they project themselves into the monster.
Well, the
But he
thing is,
wasn't the real monster
the
all
creature is
along.
not supposed to be a bad guy in this novel, like, or is not intended to, but absolutely is.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Mhm.
So shall we close up what happens in the novel with the last?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So basically, so after Paris, Victor and his father go back home to Geneva. Victor marries his not cousin Elizabeth, and then wedding night, Victor gets his guns and his dagger, and then decides to go patrol the house because he's concerned. And he swears to Elizabeth the day after he's going to tell Elizabeth his dirty secret, and she's like, okay. And then, so as he goes off to patrol and comes, he hears a scream, and it's Elizabeth, and because for some reason he didn't conceive of the monster's threat being that he was going to kill Elizabeth, and rather that he was going to kill himself, as in Victor. Yeah, and so he's like, oh my god, why did I think that the monster was going to kill Elizabeth? I'm like, that's his modus operandi. That was the first thing I thought of, is when he says he's going to be there at the wedding night, he's saying he's going to kill Elizabeth.
Right. He needs you. He's trying to get leverage over you. Like, are you dumb?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, are you dumb? She is the one person you don't want to leave alone, because she is the person that he's probably going to kill, because you don't get to have your wife if you don't make him his wife, is basically what he's probably thinking.
Right.
Like,
this is another instance of and then plot.
Yeah. And so she's croaked. He shoots the gun out the window and misses, and then tries to run after the monster and fails. And then, of course, Victor's considered to be the one responsible, except for, I think there were servants who proved his innocence, and he got thrown in jail for a while.
In the third murder frame up of this novel.
Yeah, and then the father dies of sadness.
Right. Like, there's no conceivable way the monster could have known these things would like work like this either.
I know.
Like, it's more girl writing is like, she, like, all the characters have the same meta awareness of the plot that she does.
Yeah. Okay, so then after Victor is, done with his delirium and sadness, and gets out of jail, he decides that he's going to get his revenge, and goes to visits the graveyard and decides to go chase the monster. And then he chases the monster all the way to the Arctic, where the monster starts causing problems and scaring all the villagers and stealing a bunch of food and sleds and dogs. And then Victor's chasing him, and then that's how he comes across this guy traveling the Arctic on a boat when Victor's dogs had died and he was probably about to croak. Godsend, there's a boat!
Yeah.
And that's
and then
yeah.
It's not great. It's not great.
So Victor ends up dying from the cold after they start to nurse him from health and they continue going north. And then the monster is upset that Victor's dead.
And then the monster, sorry. And then the monster,
by the way, he magically just appears on the boat and then talks to the captain to give that I'm really the victim here, and that I'm going to go to the Arctic on some mountain and burn myself on a funeral pyre and leave this miserable world goodbye. And that's the end of the book.
So I was entering this discussion prepared to be more generous to this novel, because it is a gripping read. Like it has enough. The momentum is there to keep you going, even if like the plot isn't the most coherent. Like it's good on momentum, but the more we talk about it, the more I'm just like, this book fucking sucks. It sucks out loud.
It's hard to find it between all of the passages describing nature, or woe is me, I'm in a dark cell, or I'm dying because of my delirium.
All right, so right now there are 3 different monsters in this, right? Okay, first off, there's the actual monster who is an absolute shitlib, who is unreasonable and obviously allegorical. I'd say like it's tragically allegorical. This monster, he's trying so hard to be a tragic figure.
There's
yeah. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, they're good.
The creature is a satanic leftist.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 2 species of leftists. There's the satanic and the foolish. Victor Frankenstein is a fool, easily bullied and cowed by emotional manipulation, and the satanic leftist is the kind that hates God, their father, and themselves, and is essentially taking out their own hatred of being on everybody else. The creature is a satanic leftist. And it's actually like illustrating, the dynamic of like the shitlibs who fold to any kind of emotive pressure, because he is bullying and manipulating Frankenstein, and Frankenstein falls for it.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking easily cowed sap.
Yeah. And it's interesting in a way because unintentionally it shows the horror of their ideology and shows how bad it is in practice. It's sort of like with the French family, like obviously they get their comeuppance and it's supposed to be portrayed as tragic, and it's like, no, this is not tragic, this is the natural consequences. So it kind of almost exposes all the problems with their ideology without even realizing it. It's sort of accidental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Frankenstein's monster basically feels like he has a right to civilization, and I actually have this problem with grapers. I made a breakthrough with one of them, I think today, is like I said that you don't have a right to anything. Actually, you have to fight and justify yourself every generation, every single person. You don't get to float on, oh, I was created and you created me, therefore I get to have XYZ. It doesn't work like that. Right? You have to make yourself agreeable to everybody else. Like, people have a right to be disgusted by you. No one, and you don't have a right to be tolerated by anybody. But Frankenstein is murderous over the feeling that he is not tolerated, which justifies the intolerance. It's very much, if you don't love me, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
I would not feel safe around this monster. Maybe the physiognomy of this monster is actually quite telling. Yeah, the second monster of this book, right, other than the actual monster, is the story movements, right, the and then quality of the story, in that you could make a Frankenstein story that is self-referential and not self-referential, but like it refers to itself in terms of how the plot works. Like there are character motivations. Other than the fact that the Frankenstein's monster wants to be accepted, okay, And Victor Frankenstein wants to be. What does he want other than to do shit? He just wants to do shit. I mean, that's, I guess, okay, but it makes him sort of like on the spectrum, if you know what I mean, in terms of motivations.
I mean, yeah, he gets.
The moral of the story is that ambition is bad.
We'll come back to this.
Yeah. The All right.
I'm actually like So I did some background digging on like the origins of Frankenstein, and it really is hitting me that like Mary Shelley was associated with like some of the most morally bankrupt people of the time period too. Like Percy Shelley was her husband. They're close friends with Lord Byron, and I'm just like, fuck these people. These guys fucking suck.
I actually would love to use that cohort as like an example as to why you can't have this like. This is probably going to attack something that's bigger than itself, but I feel like societies, once they get orderly and I don't know, productive enough, they start to just eat themselves out of sheer boredom and out of a need for social hierarchy, social gain, right? Like it's kind of like how Frankenstein's monster is forcibly making itself feel accepted to the point where he wants it to. First off, Frankenstein's monster seems to bemoan its own existence and doesn't even accept its own existence, and then it asks Victor Frankenstein to make more existence. Like he's learned nothing from his own story at all. Like, my life has been terrible. I've been abandoned. Hey, let's make more of that. Mm-hmm. Let's spread the misery so that it make more misery so that it nullifies like just a little bit my own misery, or even on the off chance, right? Because the only way it's going to guaranteed nullify my misery, even a little bit, is if she is my slave, right? Because she might just say no, as she does in some of the movies.
Right. Well, he has this magical expectation, like, well, you better make her ugly, so we're both ugly, and she'll glom onto me just like that.
Yeah, that actually is in there. It's very much you owe me something to love, and by golly, this thing is going to, be my companion forever. And that's actually one of the things Victor thinks is that, the monster may have made the promise to me, but there's no guarantee that she's not going to do the exact same thing, and she's not bound by the promise.
I mean, he did kidnap a little girl at one point, so paddly doodly. Which he then got shot. Based grandpa. Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. He wants a woman as miserable as. By the way, if you think that two ugly people are going to marry and be happy, you don't know ugly people. They feel this is actually true. When I say the incel Frankenstein, I'm not joking. Like, people, what is an incel? People have, by the way, women have tried this, where they've tried to like have a sexual relationship with an incel to see if they can cure him. An incel is really about hating their own existence. Instead of saying involuntary celibate, it's really involuntarily uncoupleable, like involuntarily unlovable. Frankenstein's monster is an example of an unlovable creature. It feels like it's owed something. Entitlement is usually the antithesis of love, because love is a generous thing. That's how love works. You're supposed to be generous and giving, and you don't deserve it, and there it goes. But if you think you can have some sort of transactional relationship, that's not love. That's sort of bondage and slavery.
Yep.
So, this monster is actually speed running. That'd be so funny if I just had if I just have AI make me a. What is this? Yes, no, the Sons of Pierce. It just comes out looking like oh gosh, who's the guy that got his ass beat in Portugal? It was like Nick Ricciardi used to make fun of him. It doesn't matter, whatever. It's awful. He's a YouTube personality. I want to make an AI movie where it's like Frankenstein's monster is just Vaush.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Something like that.
No,
like unlovable. Ethan Klein. That's who he's thinking of. Ethan Klein. That's right.
This Frankenstein's monster is straight up John Hacker.
John Hacker. What is that from?
Google Antifa John Hacker.
Oh no. We're gonna be on a list now.
I'm
like
afraid.
look it
both
up.
in terms of temperament and in terms of like physical appearance.
All right, let me share my screen. This is gonna.
I'm
I
bracing
feel like this-
myself.
I feel like this is gonna hurt.
So
All
like
right, get
this
out
is
of
one
here.
of the guys who attacked Andy No.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he was a weird. That's a weird
I've
looking
seen
head.
him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. That is lurching. He kind of looks like a gammon.
What, like a ham?
Well, no, like a gammon, like from England, like the way he's like sort of heavy set front belly. Like, yeah. Jeez, yeah. So that. Oh my god. Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Is he a burn victim?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that would do it. I knew a couple burn victims when I was young. It's not a fun existence. Well, the thing is,
But I mean, you can also have that happen and like the monster essentially twist it into resentment against the world, which is
Yes.
the case here.
Yes, absolutely. You know what? I feel like that's a big online Gen Z. I started calling them onliners. I have to differentiate, right? Like, so for women, whenever I'm like trying to talk shit about women, it's actually insecure women. I found out this to be the and really it's insecure men too. So maybe I just call there's got to be a better name for insecure because it's not very doesn't rattle off the tongue. But like these people who find that they are not who they think they should be, so then they eventually lash out at everybody else.
No, yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
There's actually like there's a lot of strong parallels with Nietzsche here. Even though this is like decades and decades and decades before Nietzsche, there's the man who kills God, and then the men in the world he creates in the shadow of the death of God kill men. By the way, to benign numbers station saying, I only just learned today that apparently Thought Slime trooned out. How long has that been the case? One of the bread tubers.
Oh. I don't concern myself with that sort.
They all troon out eventually.
Undefeated. Over a long enough time span, they all troon out eventually.
Yeah. Trooning never changes.
Yeah. I doubt Vosh will troon out. He's just straight up a satanic leftist.
Yeah, he's playing the college professor. It's funny because these guys all do sort of kabuki theater with their own image, their own public image, which is probably why they hate VTubers quite a bit because it's more effective kabuki theater. But yes, everything is extremely fake. Everything is extremely gay, and everything is extremely performative to the moment. Their morals will change on a whim.
It's all fake and gay.
Oh, Vosh lives in your city. What city is that? I don't want you to dox yourself. Don't dox yourself. You know what? Don't dox yourself. It's not worth it.
I thought Vosh was in LA.
He might be. I mean, there's a lot of people in LA. Then that'd be Hassan too. I just like the idea that I'm just going to put myself on here. I think Hassan using the electric shock collar to make the monster be very funny to me. Hassan just like shocks Vosh into life.
Yeah, It might actually just be that Vosh owns a bunch of property in LA. Fun fact, Vosh is a landlord.
That's really funny.
That's funny. Oh, ironies.
I was a landlord in Baltimore. That was horrific. Don't do that. Don't be a landlord in the city. Or near a city.
I can imagine that's as thankless as it gets.
It's thankless, and I have to clean up the residue of human waste, which is also sometimes includes humans.
Right.
Who've wasted themselves.
You really gotta like there's some fields of employment that like expose you to the bottom quintile of human beings, and it's like at a disproportionate rate. Like being a police officer is one of these.
Yeah.
Being a school teacher is one of these. Being a landlord is one of these. And I get why they're so fucking hesitant to ever rent anything.
No, rent. It's worse than a marriage. It's worse than it could do more damage to them than a marriage. And you're marrying some random stranger you interviewed. Me and my wife actually had a bunch of rules, unwritten rules, for renting properties, and one of them was don't rent to women. It became over and over again. We got burned because women renters would change their expectations mid-period of the rental, and then use that change of expectations to completely wreck your relationship with their landlord. So stuff that they'd signed off on before at the time of move-in would become unacceptable, and they'd either demand a discount or demand you fix it. and if they don't, they just start acting really shitty, and start like lashing out at you, like paying late, that sort of, or even like trying to bring it. This never happened to me, but trying to bring it into evictions, because evictions is extremely expensive for the landlord.
Mhm.
Oh Lord.
But by the way, Northern California, if you ever wanted to, I went to San Luis Obispo once for a wine tour. It wasn't really for a wine tour, it was for work, but it was Department of Defense work, so it was basically a wine tour. It was a wine it was a wine tour, and then because our UAV worked, it was just sort of sitting around for a few hours as Special Forces guys tried it out. It was okay. It worked out. But yeah, we were drunk as shit. But San Luis Obispo, I would be open to going back to San Luis Obispo for another wine tour, because you could only drink so much wine in one day, and there's like hundreds of vineyards there.
Mhm.
So shout out to was it Stonehouse? I have to remember it. But the Sofa King was pretty good, which was a total hippie vineyard, and it was all just garbage Day of the Dead looking stickers on their stuff, but they actually had the best wine. So you had a bunch of like boring old project managers in the Department of Defense, just like, oh, I'll take the Sofa King good, and I'll take the Sofa King better. They're not saying it like that. I'm trying to like change the words up, but yes. Anyways, yes. If you guys want to ever go on a wine tour, let me know. I want to get out of this farm. I'm in Tennessee, in the middle of nowhere.
Unfortunately, my Native American blood prevents me from going with you. Sorry.
Oh man, I got the Northern English blood that makes me like the alcohol, and I got the Chinese blood that makes me not addicted to it. So I've got a problem. The problem is I don't have enough booze.
My problem is that a lot of the alcohol just doesn't go well with my system, and I can't drink it. Hardly.
I used to drink like half a liter of 100 proof a day,
Good
and then
Lord.
I would just stop. And I was just bored. That was the thing. It's like the alcohol immediately it's boredom. That's it. So I was like, I should probably play guitar some more. I don't know.
That was a wild personal revelation for me. Like, oh yeah, the reason I drink and smoke is I'm basically self-medicating for ADHD.
Yeah. Yes. That's probably why people like alcohol so much. And I can't stand socializing with people until I've had something to drink. Because or at least I used to. I used to be way more serious. I used to be more like Victor Frankenstein. It was all just go, get stuff done. But first off, Victor Frankenstein, the Victor Frankenstein that I always knew from the Hammer horror films and all the great films, it was like he was unrepentant. But this guy is just absolutely bitch made about his creation.
He's a giant soft boy.
How would Hammer horror films Victor Frankenstein, Peter Cushing Frankenstein, respond to the demands of this monster? I feel like you just pull out a pistol and shoot it.
Yeah.
Try. Set it on fire.
No, wait. This is kind of like Dracula. Only Dracula was a masterwork, and this kind of sucks. But so much of its legacy is actually from like adaptation and sort of fanciful. Like Dracula is not sexy. He is not a hot monster. He's straight up just like,
I don't know. The new iterations of Dracula are pretty hot.
Well, no,
that's
like
the new iteration.
Bram Stoker's Dracula is like a bestial monster with like the thinnest veneers of outward civility. But there is no mistake that either Dracula or his brides aren't just like dangerous wild animals. And that gets softened or adapted in spirit and sort of changed, and the cultural legacy is actually this other much more ambiguous character. And in this one, like I think the Hammer horror like actually kind of saved the legacy of this novel, because let's be honest, that's most people's exposure to Frankenstein is later adaptations where
later fan fictions are better than the original.
Yeah, where Victor Frankenstein is like much more ambitious and like ironclad and a little bit more crazy. Not like gothic romantic, oh woe is me crazy, but like full on mad scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The monster is portrayed much more nobly. His killing is usually an accident, and it like really heightens the tension between these characters, because what you get in the novel is actually something completely different, and everyone in this story should die except for Henry Cavill.
Yeah, there we go.
We can have Elizabeth. Henry Cavill and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
That'd be the funny thing is, like, I hear that, oh well, in the Frankenstein novel, the monster talks. I was like, I wish he didn't. That was an improvement. Put it back.
That
Put
would
it
be
back
a
in.
good improvement if you didn't.
Oh my god. He is such a whiny Trotskyite bastard. Who gives a shit?
Just a benign number stations point here too. Frankenstein is so sparse in terms of creative source. This novel was a slog, I think, for all of us, and like almost nothing happens in it.
Yeah, we that's why I asked Luna to pretty much summarize it, right? and it wasn't that much. He goes to some bullshit with his family. He goes to college. First off, forget the family. It doesn't make any difference other than his brother. Okay, so he's got a brother.
It's also so fucking convoluted.
Oh,
So it is a bit of a Mary Shelley self-insert as well.
Yeah.
She's Elizabeth.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Did you
god.
marry your cousin?
I don't know the specifics, but like
Was
a
Mary
lot of
Shelley blonde?
this biography is really similar to Shelley's. Or
I think
yeah.
I don't talk about
Self-insert.
the blonde point a bunch, but that was really weird in the novel how much they talked about how blonde she was. That was actually a thing. Like, I'm not bringing that up out of nowhere. There are pages upon pages about her golden head and how she was so much prettier and blonder than everybody else. That was a thing, and it was weird.
Right. Well, I mean, something you may be underestimating is what English accents are to American women. Southern belles are to the men of literally the entire rest of the world.
Yeah,
Right.
Southern Belle's the best. Get a school going, like process them.
Are you serious?
Yeah. The look is like the beauty ideal for basically the entire world.
So I just need to go somewhere else. Anywhere else.
You gotta ham that southern part up, yes, and then go someplace else.
Oh, bless your heart.
Unpolish the
New York
accent a bit.
Yeah, go to Romania. Yeah, man, I'm not even joking. Go to Romania and go to Poland. Like, go to.
Will I find Dracula there? I don't know.
Gotta keep an open mind, man. Gotta keep an open mind. Listen, the odds are good, but the goods are odd.
Oh god, now I'm thinking about practicing my southern accent for the rest of this take, because a lot of times I try to get rid of it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, by the way, I've been wanting to do this with the boys. Okay, just get a bunch of dudes together and go to Nashville and just make asses of ourselves. Like, every single one of us is doing our best, like we've all got bolo ties and suits and nice suits, and we're just like foghorn leghorn. Yeah, so I believe you are. Just say like horrible stuff. Yeah, I've never seen such a group of supple young women such as yourselves, except on this night here.
What the problem with Southern accents is actually the same problem American community theater has with British accents.
Oh god.
Like, there's so fucking many, and they're really very specific.
Yeah.
Like, if you've ever heard like a Georgia coastal aristocracy accent, it is a very, very specific thing, and it's like a massive class indicator when people still have one.
I've got to say, by the way, that the Southern aristocracy was America's last chance of having a European-style noble class. I do believe that America went a different way. General Patton, to me, is like the last of the Southern gentlemen.
I mean, New England kind of had one.
But like the Southern really leaned in. The Southern was unapologetic with its noble class, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's because the South was more honest about that sort of thing, and the North was less so. Like,
yeah, the North was like Mary Shelley, where she's like fucking shit libbing all over the place, and yeah. Go ahead.
Lord, I mean, for the love of God, just please act with some actual honesty.
Yeah.
Like all this BS of trying to pretend like you're something you're not. No.
We'll start. You know what? I should just adopt the. What'd you say? It was like a Georgian Southern accent or something like that. What was it called?
Oh yeah, the Georgian coastal aristocratic accent. It's unusually high and has a quaver.
Oh god.
Oh, that is very
one?
different. Okay.
Please, for the love of God, no.
Yeah, it's a bizarre accent, but if you live in certain parts of the South, it's like, oh, this person's like old money.
Is it the nasally one too?
Yes, it is.
Ah! Please. Have mercy.
How nasally are we talking
Have
about?
mercy.
See, here's the thing too. There's so many different Southern accents, and it's not just the rest of the United States that has like hang-ups about them. Other Southerners do too, just like the English do with their like
Yes, yeah.
accents.
So more wow, so more nasally. You know, I do see some association, a little bit like Greek penis size. Like small penis is more civilized. Like maybe make more nasal is considered more civilized. I do declare, yes, sir. I have passed the many libraries of Jefferson, and I have imbibed deeply the well of Aristotle, and I have to say that you are indeed a dirty bunch of.
Oh my god.
Well, wow.
We're never
I am
getting
fucking with
monetized.
my eye hole right now. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with y'all. Whereas the Tennessee accent is a little bit more like this. Because if you're out here in Tennessee, we're just trying to get by. But I tell you what, we made ourselves Dolly Parton, and ain't she the most prettiest girl with the most gold domed head?
Indeed, she is.
And that's right. And we got some Frankenstein's monsters out here in these hills. I tell you what.
Oh lordy, yes you do. And
Oh,
good
man.
God.
Yeah, good God, son. I want Southern Frankenstein. It's like somebody sees Frankenstein's monster. It's like, good God, son, damn. What are you stacked like a pile of hay, but you looking like the cockerel's neck from the toes to the tip. My God.
It's funny you mention it. There are parts of the world where the creature would get by just fine, and I think America is one of them.
Like, good Lord, boy. Damn, I need a drink. Listen, you all can work here and make your keep, but I need at least a couple of drinks, so please don't come by until at least 2 p.m. in the afternoon, because I'm at least 3 deep by then. Holy oh, Lord have mercy. I'm going to get you a pair of binoculars so you can come to church. Please don't cry.
Oh, man.
Oh, my Lord.
God in your godless soul.
Oh, my God. We got to get you a bigger coat, son.
I used to live in Northern Virginia, which is like, it's a land where accents go to die because of the proximity of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But like, like drive 45 minutes south and you are definitely in the South. So like, I never picked up the accent, but whenever I hear a Southern accent, I feel like I'm home.
Oh, yeah. Well, you are home. And his sons of Christ or Albion will welcome you.
Indeed.
That's too funny. I would, yeah, man, we need a. All right, you want to close out Frankenstein? Is there any closing thoughts you want to have on Frankenstein here?
Oh, fuck this book.
I know. God damn, Gothic shit lived from 1818. God damn.
I will say, like picking out the spiritual taxonomy of the leftist, and that there's two kinds, like the squish boy and the satanic leftist, is actually important, because a lot of this is what Nietzsche describes in The Last Men, and then much of what people accuse him of saying about the Superman actually tracks very much to this two types of leftist taxonomy, the satanic leftist and the soft boy, and there's just so many parallels here, especially Nietzsche's treatment of the golem myth. Is like you can read that and it basically gives you like Frankenstein without the pretense or affectation.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's some interesting parallels, but like I'm actually sick enough of this book that I don't want to talk about them anymore.
Maybe we'll give us some time, but like, listen, there's some great. Benign Number Station has asked us, is there any good Frankenstein adaptations? I'd say Hammer Horror is probably the place you want to go. If you want something titillating. I don't know if there's any thoughtful Frankenstein that is actually good.
I have a soft spot for I, Frankenstein.
Really?
That
Sexy Frankenstein with Aaron Eckhart?
Yeah, that movie is the best kind of dog shit for getting drunk and ripping on.
Okay. I wish we could do that. I wish we could do the riff tracks sort of thing of like just rip on this. Because I think Luna would have something to say too, because it's called Sexy Frankenstein for a reason. It's like this guy is just.
I have not seen this.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. I would not recommend seeing this drunk. And like this was like the archetypal "fuck you, it's January" movie. Like it came out on like January 6th, and their like trailers right after opening weekend were like the best movie of the year. Like, yeah, it's been 9 days, bro. It's the only movie of the year.
Movie of the year. Fuck
I
you.
am interested and terrified.
There's like a little asterisk says as of January 9th.
No, yeah. Wait, so January and August are like the dumping ground for like the worst trash.
We're gonna get into some general nonsense here, but I think this is facetious, but also not. How does Young Frankenstein stack up to Frankenstein here in terms of an adaptation?
It's not very loyal, but hot damn, is that movie good?
That's so good.
Is the hump on the other side? I have a hump.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's no ego.
Their castle.
Yeah, like the Igor thing is entirely an invention of the movies, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing is, they don't. Okay, you get to also tell that a lady wrote this because there's not a lot of gear porn. Now, my wife is writing a book right now, and she's
that is one of the dead giveaways that Dracula is written by a man too.
Was it gets way into the gear porn of like what everyone's equipped with?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They cast a Shakespearean actor. Yeah, dude. By the way, Shakespearean actors. I put a video out I think yesterday or 2 days ago where I talked about tradition, and to me, tradition is what you grow up with, and that's there's a couple of phases of growing up. There's your early childhood, then there's your childhood, and then there's your early adulthood, and then there's adulthood. But like the Globe Theater churning out Shakespearean actors has been that's what an institution is. An institution is just a tradition that has been codified and solidified and preserved over time. Anything else is bullshit. Everything else is not really an institution. So the Shakespearean actors they're churning out from the theater productions in England have been pretty much fueling the entire a lot of the, not all of it, but a lot of the American cinema for quite some time.
I'll deliver a spicy take here. I'm so beyond caring about Marvel movies at this point, but it must be observed on the note of Shakespearean actors that Thor 1 is actually the worst Thor movie, and it's entirely Kenneth Branagh's fault. I mean,
Kenneth Branagh, is that the director? Who's Kenneth Branagh?
Yeah, fucking Kenneth Branagh. He's like one of the greatest Shakespearean actors of all time.
Well, I mean, he's an actor, but he's not a director.
Henry
It's a big
V. He has like the super famous rendition of Henry V.
Okay.
He's done a bunch of stuff. Thor 1 was the worst. Like, yeah, all the Thor movies are like mostly kind of bad, but they're they're all schlock. And Thor 1 was played very like heavy-handed, straight-laced, like up and down. We are going to treat this seriously, and it's just schlock. And it's like it doesn't even have the decency to be funny or self-effacing. It's just bombastic shit.
Yeah, the funny part was when he
And-
slammed
and,
the
like,
coffee
here's-
cup on
here's-
the ground. You know? It wasn't-
Shakespearean actors doing direction always produce bombastic shit.
Oh, I see.
And,
I see.
and I'm
Yeah,
tired of pretending that's not the case.
the Shakespearean actors maybe are a bit more like the Englishmen, that they are the lions who must be directed by somebody who's not the donkeys.
Shakespeare was also not entirely serious. Like,
Oh, yeah,
Shakespeare's work, it's clear that the man has some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Midsummer Night's Dream
would
is
seem
a
to be
romp.
the way
It's
that
great.
they're intended to be delivered, but that's not the Shakespearean tradition.
Yeah.
I actually really appreciated the DC Shakespeare Company because they would have fun with it. Like even their serious pieces, like there was an element of play with it.
Wait, you said the DC, like Washington DC?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, that was actually like one of the things I'm really thankful for in my upbringing is seeing like lots of live theater.
Yeah, man. I grew up around the DC area too, and I really enjoyed the plays there. I dated a girl when I was very young, late teens, and she was like a costumer for theater companies. And I have to check in on her again, but I think last I checked in on her around COVID, she was the lead costumer for the Shakespearean Theater Company in DC. So I have to see how she's doing. Yeah. She's a workaholic. She's an absolute workaholic. Theater companies are absolutely fucking wild. If you have any sort of like reverence for theater people, that'll go right away as soon as you get to know them. Holy shit! God damn, y'all are living on a knife. That's the thing is though they're so good at their job because they live on a knife's edge. This next play is everything. Yeah, so some good productions there, man. So some good productions. Yeah,
I feel a little bit out of place because I haven't seen a lot of that stuff. I was a ballerina for a while, but I wasn't in a lot of those productions at all.
Yeah, ballerinas don't.
It's not the same.
I was gonna say they don't have the kind of fun that other theater people do. The theater people though are kind of cringe. I mean, they're free spirits. Let me put it that way. They're free, and if you're a free spirit, you're going to be cringy. That's just how it is. I had a lot of fun because there's a lot of release like after opening night, and then once the production run is done, and that was like wild because you have a self-imposed massive level of stress. At that moment, right? I remember Lauren talking about how the costumes, because her costuming assistant didn't sew it a certain way, all of the laundry machines had pretty much ripped all of the stitches. Ooh. And she had to like go ham to fix everything. And I'm talking like right before they're getting called, there's like safety pins on the rear sort of thing. Actors are going out, and your acting ability is pretty much there to overcome all the shortcomings of production, because production is an absolute shit show behind the scenes. But the actual thing you see on the stage is amazing. That's show business right there. Yeah, that's show business. It's a fun thing to watch. Because I get to just sit out in the audience and tell my girlfriend at the time that like that looked amazing. That was great. Everything was wonderful. No idea the kind of chaos is going on backstage. Anyways, yeah. So Frankenstein, are we done with it? I want to be done with it. I think everyone wants closure right now, and the kind of closure that comes with a concrete casket lid. This was a slog. I did not enjoy listening to this. Its plot was bad. Its ideas were great.
Oh, you pointed out that the monster only has like one physical description in the entire book, like one scene where he's actually described, other than being big and hideous. Another weird thing about this novel is like there's actually very, very little like sense of the physical in the novel. Everything is like a psychological feeling scape. Like in describing any scene, almost all relation to anything else or like all characterization is emotive.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, there's almost no physicality to this novel. It's just an emotional landscape.
I think that literature
that's a girl novel.
How did literature improve between here and Bram Stoker? right? Like, is it just because it's a girl novel, or is it that literature did actually improve? I mean, she is also 19 years old, so
Yeah. I think it's just that this is not a particularly. I mean, it's an exciting sci-fi concept, but I think that this is just not a particularly well-written book.
yeah. I wonder what a dude's Frankenstein would be like. But
Hammer horror.
Yeah. You know what? If I was Dr. Frankenstein, I would build another Frankenstein's monster to fight my other Frankenstein's monster. Be like, fuck it. You wanna fuck
No,
with my wedding?
you get super invested in this one.
Yeah.
And he's your guy, and he's got to go kill the other
my
one.
guy. Yeah, he's like Odd Job from the.
He did say he wanted a wife, but what if the plot twist was he made him another man?
Victor Frankenstein's like, sorry, buddy, you're gay now.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah, pal.
Wow,
Satan for his gayness. As for the
you were raised and given culture by the French, so we know you're already a fag, but we're also going to make you gay.
Oh Lord.
All right, here he is. Here it is from way back early in the stream. State mandated girlfriend. Monkey's paw goes. That's so funny. Oh my god. Yes. The prison. Yes, exactly. Prison wife. You're my prison wife. My Frankenstein. Listen, man, I'm in charge of life. I can make it whatever I want. All right. I identify as being alive, and anyways, yes, okay. Frankenstein's over. We could talk about themes, but honestly, fuck this is what I'm thinking. Like
I mean, the self-report is so much more interesting than.
Let's talk about the self-report. Yes, yeah. Why did she pick those three different philosophers, Phyllis and Cosma? What would they have to do with this story?
I mean, I think it's just like melodrama and the era romanticism at the time. And if you're part of that like Shelley Byron literary circle, you've kind of got your head up your ass. If I'm honest, so she just picked ones that sounded sophisticated. Like this is what's good these days. I mean, I reckon these are things that were very formative for her. I don't know that for certain, but that's certainly how it reads. And it is like a continental romanticist type of world outlook. Yes. Like the monster doesn't feel real. Like it feels very much a product of European culture and not a natural thing.
Yeah.
Let me just say that Frankenstein would be a very different book if Rudyard Kipling wrote this. Anyways, I'm going to just leave it at that. That'd be amazing. Rudyard Kipling's Frankenstein. It's just the most. If anybody doesn't know, Rudyard Kipling had fought in Africa. He was an Englishman fighting in Africa. He's the one who wrote the poem Boots that's heard prominently in 28 Years Later's trailer.
I imagine if you wrote that, then the monster would have gone to Africa, and then it would have been his exploits in the African wilderness.
Well, what I said is that if you're left to be your natural your natural savage self would probably reflect that of an African, right?
Yeah.
African tribalist.
There's like the creature arrogates to himself both like a certain sympathy for the character of Lucifer, but also like but also arrogates to himself as the role of Adam, and it's like, steady on there, buddy. Yeah, no, it's like, dude, you like there's some literary allusion, but like as a moral outlook, calling yourself the new Adam is like, oh, you hubristic as fuck.
Yep.
I'm just saying that like the Frankenstein's monster needs an ass whooping. Like if I was gonna play the dad role, just as God played the dad role for humanity, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be a belting. It's like, you hubristic little shit. You show up on my wedding day, you better be there throwing fucking roses on the floor, or I'll be spitting your guts out. Sort of shit. Like, why are you taking this shit from this monster? And then the monster's crying over his dead body. It's like, what were you doing? What are you expecting? Absolute asshole. Yeah, just fucking slogging over Africa, indeed. Jesus Christ.
Oh, he's asking about the Africa thing. Apparently, the monster was like, if you give me a wife, I'll go away to the wilderness. And I think he said he was going to go to Africa. So that's not me pulling that out of nowhere.
South America.
Oh, South America?
Yeah, same difference.
Yeah.
It's the wilderness, right? The wilderness of the world.
Oh,
How
Benign
would you
Number
get to South
Station
America?
mentions
You have to go on
the
boat.
one. he mentions the one poem by her husband that I actually like.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. Ozymandias written by Mary Shelley's husband, Percy Mandius?
Percy Bysshe Shelley, yeah.
Sorry, Percy Shelley. I'm sorry. Percy Mandius. Sounds like a derogatory name.
Percy Mandius.
Percy Mandius.
That's really funny. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, the Breaking Bad episode. That's right. So Percy Bysshe Shelley. That's a very European way of spelling Bysshe. All right, let me bring that up and I'll share it. And we're just gonna take a look at it because fuck it, why not? I'm just gonna
anything to bring us out.
Yeah, like this is a bad book, man.
It's just amazing to me that this book has so much cultural cachet and it's so bad. Like I read this in college and like I think this must have been honestly one of the assignments. Like I was a philosophy major. Like my major required like reading burden was like 200 pages a day. I think this is just one of those humanities assignments I fucking phoned in and did Spark Notes because this is like, God, this novel sucks out loud.
I can relate. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert, near them on the sand. Half sunk a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet virtue stamped on these lifeless things. The hand that mocked them, and the hand that fed. And on the pedestal, those words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty in despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. Oh, there's not a lot left of that, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So it's that one thing. Am I interpreting this right? Is that he's got this one thing here sticking out of the sand, says, "Look upon you works, mighty in despair," and there's like nothing there.
Yeah, it's like a plinth with like
Jesus.
some feet and like the ruined fragment of a head.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, like, there's interpretation in the moment, and there's interpretation upon reflection, and those are actually 2 completely different characters in your head.
Yeah.
And you need to have those characters talk to each other, because they both have a lot of value. So, but right now I only have one character. But yeah, that's what it comes up. Yeah, that actually reframes the whole Ozymandias poem for me. Is like, yep, you ain't got shit left, brother. It's all gone. That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
What works there might have been. Yeah, this was trying really hard. And I think there's going to be better books. I saw some enthusiasm in here. I think it was from Benign Number Station for a little bit of Edgar Allan Poe. Now, here's the thing about Edgar Allan Poe, and I was talking about this to my wife, is that Edgar Allan Poe, in terms of literary reference, okay, so there's Moby Dick by Herman Melville, which does this, and then there's also Mary Shelley who does this, where it's a lot of stuff is very referential to stuff that happened like a paragraph or so ago. So you're going to go like pages talking about something. You're going to, and you have to sort of you have to imagine in your mind an apple that's rotating. Yeah. And then she introduces another, and there's multiple apples rotating. Whereas the great alcohol-addled mind and the madness-addled mind of Edgar Allan Poe, he's going to say the word chamber door like a million fucking times during this piece of literature. So it's actually easy to focus on because what it's doing is he's using rhythm and repetition to build madness. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he is a unsung precursor to H.P. Lovecraft a little bit in this way that he is.
He is. I mean, it's widely recognized in literary circles that Edgar Allan Poe is super influential. What's funny is Lovecraft actually does do a couple of short stories that are deliberately mocking the Romantic period and classical Gothic horror.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But yeah, Poe was a huge influence on him, and he writes glowingly of Poe.
I think Poe is a master and a man out of time, and a tragic figure, because if you read his biography, he is essentially in love with something and is doing something, and those things both die constantly. He's like one hand over the other. Like, the thing I'm doing and the thing I love is just, this one died, and then that one died, and this one died. Man, tuberculosis is a motherfucker. By the way, catching TB in Baltimore is like catching the flu. I was talking to a Baltimore physician. He was like, yeah, pretty much everybody's got it. It's just normal. You're just going to have TB. Everybody's arthring it.
It's one of those old-timey diseases that used to be a death sentence, but is now like, whatever.
Shrug it off.
In California, there's something like 4 to 10 cases of the plague every year.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, like people get the bubonic plague. Oh, it turns out, by the way, that armadillos are natural incubators for that. It's one of the reasons you're never supposed to eat them.
Yes.
What's the one? The skin one that's in the Bible.
Oh, leprosy.
Leprosy, yeah.
Yeah, you can get that from them too. There's something else that incubates leprosy. I don't remember what it is.
If I was going to be a terrorist who would incubate diseases, I would try to find some sort of disease that latches to cats.
Oh Lord.
That would wipe out toxoplasmosis.
Ladies, though.
I mean, like a proper disease. Toxoplasmosis is like, well, you're going to like cats a lot, and you're going to smell funny,
and you're going to take risks.
Oh, is it really? Is a risk-taking thing?
Yeah. How it shows up in humans, yeah.
Oh, really? Because I know that mice would like run over and play with cats.
Well, so it's a disease that incubates, and it's a disease from mice that incubates and reproduces in the stomachs of cats. So one of the things it does, is make mice philophilic so they can get eaten, so that the disease can incubate and replicate.
Yes.
And humans can get it, and it makes them like it affects the brain and makes us like far more prone to risk taking.
Really?
Yeah.
In a world that's as safe as ours, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, probably.
That's pretty amazing.
I mean, it results in some lifespan shortening behavior, but it also makes you do things and not be a soft boy.
Yeah.
Also in women, it makes you much more likely to have sons than daughters.
What? Are you shitting me?
No, it actually affects what do you call it? It affects the sex of the kids you have. Yeah,
that's funny.
Funny,
man. Someone tell Henry.
I know about this. I don't know if I should bring it up because
do it.
I know that a lot of times, so sometimes when they were talking about that stuff in science, they said depending on when you have sex with a woman, can affect what gender it is, because of the acidity of the fluid that she's making down there, like the discharge.
Yeah.
And that affects the sperm, because I think the female sperm are bigger, but the male sperm are smaller and faster. But I forget exactly how. But
Thanks
yeah,
versus DPS, man.
The acidity affects it because the acidity will destroy a lot of the male sperm, which are smaller.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. This stuff all sounds sort of like alchemy and witchcraft, and it's really amazing how much of it is true and how much the ancients were like, wow, you guys are really observant about some random things.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, seriously.
Talk about like when women ovulate, like the closer it is to ovulation, is more likely to be a male, and if it has to stay within the female body long enough to attach, then it's more likely to be female.
Timing, brothers, timing. Yeah, it is what it is. That's funny. We gotta review something more fun next time.
Yeah.
Do we want to turn this time, Milk and Cigarettes, into literature and fictional review, and then maybe have a different?
If I keep doing this, I'm never going to get to work on my book. I spend so much of my time listening to this, and it's my free time, not my work time, that I never work on my own novels.
We can always do something that's pretty quick. But I guess the thing that doesn't require a ton of investment would either be short works like Cask of Amontillado, which, by the way, I'm all for.
Yep. Love that one.
Or stuff that's like more prescient and political. And really the best thing is to do both. Like, how does something relate to now? And I have signed up for, this is going to be funny. Cosmo, are you taking the class with Stelios?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I signed up. I don't know if it's going to be wasted on you or something, because you've already, how much of this do you already know? Maybe you want to bone up on it, or you want to be a connoisseur, but it's all new to me. I was an engineer. I'm an engineer. I'm here to serve the empire as it stands. I don't care. As I once heard from a farmer, if I can't eat it, sell it, or fuck it, I don't really care about it. Mm-hmm. However, I'm now moving beyond that in my elder years, and I have to think about stuff. I could play the student, and you could play someone who's already been through it once, at least.
Yeah, this is, it's the kind of thing I'm curious to bone up on and get, additional perspectives on. I actually had this conversation a few weeks ago with a guy who's younger than me, but had also he'd just gotten through law school, but he did philosophy for undergrad, and we were having a back and forth about it. The preoccupation with leading the good life, I think, is actually properly considered the correct domain for philosophical inquiry. It's actually the subject matter of philosophy, and what its primary occupation should be. And we were having a discussion about rationalism. This guy was very much deontological Kantian ethics and stuff. I'm like, nah, dog. Rationalism has limitations. Both emotionality and wisdom tradition live on opposite sides of reason, and
right.
reason's domain of claim is actually very narrow. Rationally constructing premises is actually fairly inconsequential. And he was like, yeah, but you need to structure axioms that define the good and the good life and stuff. I'm like, no, you don't. You straight up don't. In order to pursue what is the good life, you straight up do not need to concern yourself with axioms.
I mean, is
common man does? And that's what gets me is you got your head so far up your ass. It's do you think the common man considers that? Is no, he doesn't care about these axioms. He cares about like you said, the wisdom tradition. Or
right. Well, also constructing rational. Yeah, constructing rationally justified premises is also a way to trick yourself when you get stuff wrong and make yourself blind to the source of your own errors.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because philosophy must necessarily be experience, it has an experiential component to it. It must. I think inquiring into virtue and then specifically cultivating an interest in it is actually super, super important.
Yeah, it's the proper place of rational versus irrational. Is the irrational be set aside and have pure rationality, or is the rational simply there to serve the irrational? The irrational might simply be, I like women. Women are nice. I don't know why. I'm not analyzing it. I mean, is the irrational a place where you put the back burner of your conscious? That we haven't analyzed this yet, but we know it to be good. Versus the rational, which is there to accomplish a goal. I'm very much interested in it because I am a creature of rationality with intrusive thoughts of irrationality that I cannot control, which then steer me. And so far, the irrationality has been much better for me than rationality. I was, unlike most Westerners, I was born as a tool. I'm my childhood was not that of a person. You know what I mean? I don't understand how you could when people say like, "Oh, I was loved and accepted," I'm like, or I was whatever. I was like, no, I was always useful. I was always useful. That was the highest praise, and
Right,
I think that was the case for most of history.
Yes,
So-
yes,
so-
that children were essentially junior members in the labor force.
Mhm. Well, what gets me about that is I was always actually interested in philosophy before I actually took a philosophy class.
Oh,
Um,
academic philosophy is like garbage tier.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of it was very much man coded, and I was like, this isn't even closely or remotely to how I conceive the world or my own personal philosophy. It is so out of left field.
I
And
think
how,
philosophy. Yeah. Sorry. Good. I'm sorry.
and maybe it was just my experience in college and the philosophy I took. But yeah, and it drove me like I couldn't stand it. It was so frustrating, and I was like, yeah, I have no interest in this. I
Mm.
kind of feel bad because I really like Stelios and I wanted to look at the class, but every time I'm just like, do I really want to listen to this?
I think philosophy might be man coded.
I think it's
It
man-coded.
is severely man coded.
Yeah.
I think I was asking him about like, you know, like him and Carl, like, you know, where is the stumbling point where essentially virtue drops out of, you know, where virtue drops out of ethical consideration. And I came to you know, my own conclusion about that. Like, maybe the worst misstep for philosophy in all of history was teaching Germans and French to read.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, they tend to try and push things to the absolute limit. And I always see power is always you never gain anything without selling something too. And when you gain power, you are selling moral culpability. I'm trying to like think of I'm a couple of whiskeys or no, actually, you know, I'm drinking homemade gin tonight. I'm all out. And you are now morally culpable. So things get scary the more power you actually gain. And maybe it's more intense, but it's definitely higher stakes. And you are now like you might have to be a accessory to a murder if you are a king, right? If you were just some peasant trying to just fill the larder and fill the granary, and that's all you cared about, you're some Caleb Cooper from Clarkson's farm, you don't have to worry about that stuff like that. However, you do have to worry about things that are of mortal importance. A lot of the political disagreements you get, especially on your own side, are actually what scope are you thinking at? Like allying with an enemy might seem horrendously treacherous unless you're working at a certain scope of power. That's why this is completely aside from the subject, is that I think one of the things you have to do if you want to have a monarchy or have any sort of noble class is you have to start as a peasant class, give them moral leniency for the horrible things they must do to try and keep this thing going. And
Yeah.
most people are not.
Up when you just said that, and I think we've talked about it before, where Trump will sit there and insult somebody, and then like a couple months later, he takes them under the wing and gives them a really good high position. And that sort of bridge building is so important for building a coalition and getting your country running. You have to depend on other people and their loyalty.
Well, one of the things that's really interesting about Trump, and I think why, you know, even if he were not like institutionally opposed to them, why the deep state hates him, and sort of,
Yeah.
You know, why America's very bourgeoisie upper crust hates him, is
I know a lot about that.
he acts in defiance of the ordering morality, which is deontological. You know, just follow the rules so you don't have to think or be good. You know, you just follow rules. And you know, bureaucratic legal orders, which are over the course of like late 19th through 20th century, more and more of government and more social institutions become bureaucratized. The hallmark of bureaucracy is that it obfuscates personal responsibility and creates moral shielding for things that people do on an institution's behalf, shields them personally from moral liability. So essentially, the ethos of the civil service and of bourgeoisie society in general is anti-responsibility.
And it's not just that, it's also the squeezing between the rules. Like, once you know how to play the game, you know the rules, and the rules are everything rather than the moral compass. Like, if you can squeeze between
because the rules are there so you no longer have to be good.
And that's where sort of,
it is creating people who are devoid of. Oh, sorry. Was I just like?
Yeah, you're muted.
I don't know if we were talking over each other or if I just got cut out there.
You got cut out.
Okay. Yeah, it's God damn it.
Bourgeois, the rules
process on my computer. I bet you anything. It's just
no. First, feel free to sort it out. I'm gonna bookmark you there. Like,
it's
You good?
It's creating a sort of a sort of civilization that's like essentially not only not moral because it's governed almost entirely on deontological systems, it's actually one that's deeply opposed to personal responsibility and views it as a threat.
Yes.
Trump's behavior is very much in the domain of personal responsibility. And it makes him a metaphysical enemy of that class of people just at a baseline level.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if they have to rethink it, they have to destroy the civilization, right? Because a lot of stuff was built on the false assumptions of American modern lib, which is not to be confused with classical lib and not to be confused with American classical lib, which I think are two different classes.
Right.
But we'll go on there for. It's a destruction of their like the genetic research, right? Like understanding IQ and genetics is also anathema to what they preach. Like there is a thing about modern lib that reaches back to continental classical liberalism, where they do grab the blank slate and they do grab the apologia of the savage that we have for Frankenstein's monster here.
I mean, it's not just continental. That stuff's in John Locke too.
Is it John Locke? Oh, interesting. Yeah, America's greatest power, as you and I have both talked about, is like we don't think about it too much. So I feel like America is unfortunately able to completely just change its beliefs without even saying anything, without even any announcement. It was like, yeah, we don't believe that anymore, and they don't actually internalize it either. There's no announcement. There's like a psychic version of Mao's Red Book, but it's not so horrifically enforced. But it is part of the belief system, and it might just be like a movie that does it, right? Like it might just be Independence Day, and that's what updates our firmware of like, oh yeah, it's an American. Okay, it's different. So as an aside, like all this talk about founding fathers, usually whenever I hear someone bring up the founding fathers, I hear the dumbest shit issue from their mouth. I was like, that's way out of date. That's just not America anymore. I mean, and I usually just counter with saying like, are we going to deport the Italians now? And that usually shuts them up. And I also have a little map that says like, what's Benjamin Franklin's white? What does Benjamin Franklin consider white? It's just English and Northern French, and that's it. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that we hitch our civilization to changes, and America is just a constant battleground. I don't think we'll ever know peace as Americans. It's just not in our lot.
Well, we kind of know peace in our struggles. If you think about it, I mean, we do live fairly peaceful, but And I feel like that's actually pretty healthy for us, because when people are bored, then you have problems.
Yes, absolutely. Benign Number Station says, yeah, George Washington would do a lot of things. He would. I've used George Washington, by the way, to like diffuse libertarians because they were all about founding fathers, this and that. And I'm like, he also deployed an army to collect taxes. He's getting his money, old Georgie. The peace that we know, I think Americans, you know what? I think Americans can know peace. They don't know stability and certainty. And that's kind of a thing that I think would drive Europe mad, especially the English. We don't do a lot of pageantry. We don't do a lot of institutions.
We're also very driven. which annoys me when people say, "Oh, really? The problem is having having too much ambition." It's like, no, it's the wisdom in what you're doing, having a ambition that's good and moral, and not gonna, create the dinosaurs that are gonna eat you all. I mean,
a lot. This goes to one of my thesis statements that I think a lot of the stuff that makes America function makes Europe dysfunctional, and that Americans are supposed to be very ambitious and also be willing to usurp positions of power pretty quickly.
well, how we deal with classes is very different from Europe too. They're a very classist society, and we are not. It's like, and we actually have great admiration for underdogs and people that overcome adversity. We feel like that is virtuous to the person.
Yeah, and I think they've kind of co-opted that and tried to, in their woke minds, relate that to race. So they start giving like racial benefits and help. And you see it, by the way, all the stuff that Englanders do is New Englanders do the same thing. It's very much, it's I heard that they will say like, oh, this is just who we are by blood. And I'm like, yes, I agree, actually, because when I look at the places that are very, very English, they all operate very similarly. And that they try to consider the consideration of victimhood as virtue, right? And I saw that Carl Benjamin had rejected this. It's fairly obvious if you get out of your mindset of being an Anglo-Westerner, is that victimhood is actually, to me, villainy. The man who is downtrodden and made weak is actually very dangerous and should be kept under close scrutiny. Only the most virtuous of those men will not blame their oppressors and instead try to serve them as Jesus Christ ordered us to do so, and then be spared. But anybody who takes a victimhood stance, especially if it's actually true, especially if they're actually victims, are extremely dangerous. Like Frankenstein's monster is extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Because he feels entitled to life.
He feels entitled to a woman. He feels entitled to life. He feels entitled to the society around him. And yet he doesn't look inward and try to change himself. And he does, like, in the weirdest backward way. And he doesn't really actually bring forth any sort of, like, he talks about virtue and how he wanted to be virtuous, and it's like, then be virtuous even if he's being attacked. I feel like if a Bible was dropped at his feet rather than some of the books that he actually found, like, Paradise Lost, I feel like he would probably behave very differently if he took the things of Jesus to heart, as you said. That it's a good, if these people oppress me, even though I'm being virtuous, then that should be a thing to look upon as a thing of honor, and it's a complete shift in the mindset.
The problem with the monster, right, is he feels like he's owed something and he doesn't have any obligations. It'd be interesting if the monster actually had obligations to Frankenstein, but he doesn't feel any. He feels his constant. This is the root of all shit-lib behavior, whether it's on the left or the right. And I see this a lot on the right now, especially for young men, is they feel like the world owes them something, and it just simply doesn't. And they don't have an obligation. Like I see, I'll explain to you one young person on X is that the U.S. citizenship is an obligation, not a right, not a privilege. Like you have an obligation to serve. You have to do something. Like for me, I tried to enlist in the United States Marine Corps, and I was rejected due to asthma. There was one other issue. I forget what it was. It was mostly the asthma though. But like then I served as a civilian doing the best I could in college. Like instead of like getting drunk and effing around, I was studying very hard so I could be of use to my country, who was at war at the time. And I was like, I don't know if a lot of young people actually have that level of like I think the thing that we can bring to this generation is that when you are created, you have to serve, or you are a massive monstrous shitlib like Frankenstein's monster is. Right? Like if you don't have that what do I owe the thing that created me mentality, you end up like this. Not super great. Not super great.
Yeah, it's not super great. It's not. It sucks. It's like bringing value to society and feeling like you're within the society. It balances you out and it makes you feel like you belong. And then you have more of a tie to the people around you and more of a love to your society. And I feel like the disconnect a lot of young people have is an issue. The fact that they feel like they don't belong, the fact that they feel like they're owed jobs and things like that, but they don't know how to get them. And it's sort of like, no, your entire perspective is wrong. To get a job, you need this, 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 and this. Or you may end up, starting from the very bottom. You're not going to start from the mid-level or the top. You have to work hard to get to your further position. And then you've earned it. And then that should be a badge of honor, is that you've earned your path forward rather than you're entitled to something.
Yeah, as Cosmo is saying here that Dostoevsky's Satan and the brothers Karamazov, gratitude is the one emotion he cannot feel. Gratitude is absolutely necessary. I was just thinking about I always like to think about stuff as like a shit scheme. If I was going to do a shit scheme to exploit people, it'd be really funny if you started seeing like white pagan nationalists, like Black Hebrew Israelites. There's like white pagan nationalists. And it's like he's got like dreadlocks, and he's like reciting Beowulf or whatever from memory, and he's saying, and he's just doing all the same shit, but it's just for white, dispossessed white people. I think that would make a lot of money. Just make a cult out of that.
People, and it's like there's one in particular that it's like, if I could, I would drag you by the hair to a cathedral and beat the demons out of you.
I mean, they want them in there. They want those demons. They love it. It gives them power.
I don't know why. I don't know. It's like, why are you so addicted to your vices and to this, to your own victimization, to your own, believing.
I've never found racial identitarianism to be something that strengthens you. And if it was, I would recommend it, but it doesn't. It actually makes it. It's a subset of collectivism that makes you weaker and less accountable. Anything that makes you less accountable makes you weaker. So, like as this Frankenstein's monster here doesn't feel accountable to his own existence, because I think that existence, the first thing that you should ask as a healthy person is, what do I owe the world? That's actually a really good way of framing your own birth and existence, of like, what does God put me on this world to do? Right. Versus the identity groups that say like, what does the world owe me? What rights do I have? Cosmo, I don't know if you're listening. Maybe just like stocks are not something that people are psychologically able to handle, maybe the concept of rights are a thing that most people are not conceptually able to handle. And that will unravel the West as we know it. I do not believe that people actually know how to handle the word rights, because to me, rights are like a castle that you must defend. Let's say that your family built the castle, okay? Say your family doesn't mean you have an entitlement to it. Because if you think entitlement to it, like, what are the ghosts of your ancestors going to protect it? Like, no, you have to protect it. So to me, rights actually equates to obligations, not something that's granted to you as a privilege or granted to you as a right.
I do think we need to have a conversation as a nation about that, because so many people say rights, like right to healthcare, and it's like, no, you don't.
I don't think you have a right to free speech. I think the negative rights and positive rights are actually two sides of the same coin, of that negative rights have to be protected, right? From like some professor with a bike lock might come over and try to take your right. Whether you're providing a security guard to stop the deprivation of your rights or providing a doctor to give you the granting of those rights. The word rights is like, it's actually just poison. If you say obligations instead, instead of saying I have a right to free speech, you say I have an obligation to protect the speech, the harmless speech of others. Yeah,
I do think that's a better way of framing it.
Yeah, it's the American way of doing things is kind of built, and I love America, so I don't like to criticize it. I have a sense of loyalty to it. I do think there are some things that lend themselves to the uninitiated and to the uneducated to take advantage of America rather than properly honor her. And rights is one of them. It's like people will take
frustrating. It is frustrating when you get all these people that come in and don't understand us or our culture and then just try to, exploit the system.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you have so for benign number stations, like, yes, this is a thing to live by, and you have to have a country that's it's a bit of a trust fall, isn't it? Right? Like, you have to have a country that you're willing to do whatever for. And there's always a transaction. So this is a criticism I hear from the Lotus Eaters quite a bit, or at least from Carl Benjamin and the guys like the Anglos, the Lotus Eaters, that America is founded on an idea, and that we have a social contract. And I think everything is a social contract, actually. Because you couldn't take English existence and then act un-English in a non-English manner, right? Like, you're acting very unsportsmanly like. Well, you have an obligation to return to being an English sport, like having English sportsman behavior, or it'll be rectified. Whether that's tied to a blood or not, America just simply takes that and ties it to everyone. And once you start decoupling rights from obligations, then it breaks down. But the fact is that all rights have always had obligations, whether it's tied to blood or not. Like all these complaints about liberalism could actually be boiled down to we should just have equal enforcement of the law and then no benefits.
Yeah.
And you would pretty much get rid of all the problems of liberalism. Yeah, the social like another trap framing is like America was founded on idea. Every fucking nation's founded on idea. Like, the idea might be that we are Englishmen. That's an idea.
Yeah. The idea anyway, continue, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, the idea for America is pretty much Christianity. To say, like, Christianity, you could also say Christianity is an idea. In other words, the America is just an idea is like the shit atheist framing of Christianity. Oh, you're just gonna believe in a book of fairy tales? You're gonna believe in a nation of ideas? It's the same argument.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you're founded on the idea that you belong to the land of the king of whatever nation. It's like they evolved out of feudal society. And so,
See you, Hadley Doodley. Appreciate you coming by the way.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, man, we're almost petering out. Out. The gin is taking its effect.
Really?
We'll close here in a second. Well, I'm just getting thirsty. To be honest. And then I'll end the stream here in a second. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday, Hadley Doodley. Good night, number 6. Happy birthday. Yeah, the Mary Shelley, oddly enough, is a writer who has, in her own writing here, has made the sort of shitlib argument against the real cost of rights. This monster has assumed rights. Yeah, absolutely, Hadley Dooley. Have a good one, man. I appreciate you. I always like you on Twitter, and I like you on the stream, and looking forward to interacting with you more in the future, man. Appreciate you.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, this monster assumes rights, just as the left liberals assume rights, and it's neither are good. They should be obligations, and that would reframe this properly. And a lot of the stuff that we talked about tonight about American rights and what it is to be a member of your nation, kind of addresses that. And then maybe, this is the gayest ending ever. I'm gonna go for it. Maybe the real Frankenstein monster is us. that we've taken for granted our rights, that we've woken up like new men, fatherless, motherless in this new world, and assumed that because we are born, we are owed something by this world. You know,
well, instead of becoming the shit lib, we need to remember the virtues that our predecessors have learned and bring that into the modern day.
The creature is the rationalist's rationalist. And no accident that he winds up being monstrous. And like, you only wouldn't consider him monstrous if you didn't buy into his hyper rationalistic
Right.
argumentation from rights. Part of
It's
why I
kind of
say,
like a modern day cautionary tale on accident.
yeah, except it depicts, what goes on in its frame with like a completely perverted moral understanding of the events.
I've heard
Yeah.
there's a certain honesty to shitlib earnest writing, though, because it is fully confessional without
Mhm.
intending to be.
Oh, super duper. Wait, so why I say like social contract is actually a trap framing, that it points to, it is in the direction of a correct understanding, but framing it as a contract, like there's the the libertarian argument, like, did you agree to this? Like, well, of course
Oh, right,
not.
right. Yeah.
But the the libertarian argument is itself playing into the trap, that everything is consensual. The fact of the matter is, you are a contingent being. Your understanding is contingent. Your existence in the world is contingent. You are not your own creator, and you're born into a world where you inherit institutions, a language, obligations, responsibilities. These are not self-chosen. And to acknowledge that this is a real thing in the world, that it is inherited and not self-chosen, points out a lot in how you should relate to the world and operate in it. But it goes against this hyper rationalistic self-conception, where after a certain fashion you are the center of the universe. And it's essentially like, that the world is inherited, including the social arrangements, your language, your obligations, etc., and that you do not exist in and of yourself and by yourself. It's the philosophical kill shot to the entire rationalistic universe, and to this very Luciferian perspective. That there is much to be grateful for, and much which is not chosen, that you must live with anyway.
Mhm.
Yes.
And part of the
Yeah, like
shit
this
live
is not
world,
our I am because I am sort of thing.
right? And part of the shit lib worldview is,
Oh, go ahead. You there?
selecting
Yeah.
beliefs on the basis of what you believe ought to be true, and then acting in the world as though the ought is true. Never mind that your premises may be wrong or mistaken or not based in observation. This is why noticing is such a crime, is you do things which go against what they believe morally ought to be true, and
Yeah.
simply reject their reality substitution.
Yeah, the reality at the moment is the worst kind of, or sorry, the political discourse at the moment is the worst kind, or at least it has been up till now, and that it is penalized the most well-adjusted and the most productive people. And I don't know if that's normal. I don't know if there's ever been such a good alliance of the jealous, spiteful goblins in history, but like I'm seeing that social media has kind of enabled a tremendous number of bastards, like absolute dysgenic, unemployed, maidenless bastards to attack from any side. And I think we're going to be constantly fighting these Frankenstein monsters in politics for a long time until we're just unapologetically Victor Frankenstein. What does me good hope is that a lot of these people who have no real political pull so far, I've not seen it.
There's an interesting video by Aiden Paladin recently where she talks about
So far,
good times create weak men. It turns out this exists on a biological level, that actually in terms of conception rate, in humans, males are conceived at a significantly higher rate. And essentially, like the weak ones either don't make it to birth or don't make it to don't make it much beyond early childhood, when times are hard and biological resources are scarce. We actually have, like, in good times, we have a superabundance of physically weaker men.
Really interesting.
My fucking computer, I keep kicking at these settings and it keeps being a problem. It's so
I'm
much
sorry.
fucking Windows malware. I hate it.
I know. Oh dear. Luna, how is he sounding to you? I've been cutting out because I think I'm lagging out because I see myself lagging about. Right? Like,
You're not
how's it
lagging
sound to
as
you?
much. Cosmo's doing better since you kind of turned off the
I think it's
the video. I don't know.
yeah. I think it's partially StreamYards because I have a gigabit connection. I have straight up optics, fiber optics that goes to a modem and then goes to an RJ45 to my computer. So I pretty much have the best scenario you could possibly have, and I'm still lagging out. So I think StreamYards is just bad. Let's go ahead and close on this. Benign Number says he can hear us fine. That's wild. Hey, if the audience is the only one that can hear us fine, that's great. Because to everybody else on this panel, we all sound like robots once in a while. Luna's been pretty good. But yes, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I don't know if we have any final thoughts, if there's something really bursting to get out, but I think we covered quite a bit. I wasn't expecting it to go to this place. That's funny as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Shitlib Frankenstein is really funny. It's like there's Frankenstein's monster just in there with Antifa. That's an extremely funny concept to me. It's like, you owe me a girlfriend.
Woe is me.
To Benign Number Station, we owe the term utopia spelled like that to Thomas More and his work of speculative fiction about a, like, perfect society that's, like, not really perfect. He's kind of like, yeah, this isn't actually perfect. Utopia being, like, the good place is EU, like eudaimonia, like good. Utopia as spelled by Thomas More is no place.
Interesting. Yeah, the riffing is kind of the best part. Like, honestly, I will either sing the praises of a book or I'll wipe my ass with it. It's either way. There's not really much in between. There's no mid here. So appreciate everybody being on, and I will see you guys later. And thank you. You should be able to expect an intro and outro video next time. I'm working on it. It's gonna be some absolute wild shit. Yep.
Nice.
Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.